Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my 2025 Royal Rumble review. We're going to go through things match by match. I'm going to tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, did I agree with the booking decisions, and of course, we're going to talk about where things can go on this crazy, unpredictable road towards WrestleMania 41. Now, I have a longer, more in-depth review with footage so that you can see frame by frame what it is that I'm talking about over on patreon.com/SantiZap. I can't have footage here because it would just get instantly blocked, unfortunately. So again, patreon.com/SantiZap, link in the description, as well as a link in the pinned comment for you. We just upload so much more content over there that we can't upload here because of YouTube's copyright regulations. But anyways, as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm really confident that you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's jump into the review. Let's start things off with the match that kicked off the show, the Women's Royal Rumble match. And oh boy, there is a lot to like about this match, but then there's also admittedly quite a bit to be able to criticize. Let's start with the things that I liked. I liked the fact that NXT was heavily represented on this show because it's a great demonstration of just how stacked the women's roster is beyond just the main roster, because we have the likes of Roxanne Perez, not just being in the Rumble, but being the runner-up and being the Iron Woman and breaking the Iron Woman record at an hour and nearly 8 freaking minutes. Lash Legend was out there. Jada Parker was out there. Stephanie Vaquer, Julia representing as the women's champion of NXT. To me, NXT was beautifully represented in this, and like I said, was a strong representation to show the world just how deep the women's roster is and how locked down the future of women's wrestling is in the WWE. I thought that was fantastic. I also thought that this Rumble had some good returns and shock entrants. I love that Jordynne Grace made her quasi-return to the WWE, but this time actually debuting as a WWE superstar, and she had a great showing in the Rumble as well. We had the return of Fiend Alexa Bliss, who had a huge ovation, a giant pop as well. We had legend Trish Stratus come back to the WWE, and of course, the one that's controversial here, Nikki Bella. Here's the thing, this is coming from somebody that actually likes and appreciates Nikki Bella, but I also understand why people kind of groan at the idea of Nikki Bella. I feel like Nikki Bella would have been better digested by fans if her and Alexa were swapped. If Alexa was the number 30 entrant, that to me would have been the way, and I feel like Nikki Bella would have been received significantly better by the crowd. But I understand Nikki Bella being number 30 feeling a little bit underwhelming. I personally liked it because, like I said, it's one of my guilty pleasures. You can look, but you can't touch. I dig Nikki Bella, but I get it. I understand. But now let's talk about the actual structure of the match, because this is where it's a tale of two halves, because the first 40 minutes of this match to me are absolutely brilliant. They were setting up an absolutely stacked, phenomenal Royal Rumble match with great in-ring work, technical work. We also had some great Joshi wrestling from Io Sky, some great heel performances from Liv Morgan. Bianca Belair looked fantastic. Great potential future matches being teased, like Jordynne Grace versus Bianca Belair as well. They were killing it. They were knocking it out of the park. Unfortunately, this match to me takes a giant turn for the worse when Nia Jax goes out there. And I hate saying that the match gets bad when Nia Jax goes out there because I am somebody that has seen the light. I've learned to like Nia Jax, but unfortunately, they booked her in what I genuinely believe is one of the worst spots in Royal Rumble history. I get Nia Jax going out there and looking strong. That's her character, but what they did with her to me is just borderline asinine, as they had this spot with 6 strong contenders. I'm talking the likes of Stephanie Vaquer. I'm talking about the likes of Io Sky being out there, Nikki Bella. We had Bianca Belair, and Nia Jax with one push eliminates 6 strong contenders. I don't mind Nia Jax eliminating people. The problem is that that spot eliminated so many main contenders that it did take a lot of the wind out of the Royal Rumble just like that, with no drama, with no buildup whatsoever, when you had so many names in there that you could have made little micro feuds and storylines coming out of the Rumble to make the road to WrestleMania significantly more interesting. But you did away with that to try and get a cool little heel spot for Nia Jax, and to me, it fell entirely flat. Did it make me hate Nia Jax? Actually, no. It just made me think that it was a bad decision. It made me think that the Rumble got worse. Not that Nia Jax is this bad dude that we need to root against or anything like that. I don't think that it landed the way that WWE was intending it to land. We also had the return of Charlotte Flair. I didn't have her in one of the surprise returns because she was previously announced. And I feel like it was personally incredibly underwhelming to pre-announce the return of Charlotte and then have Charlotte win. By the way, they completely telegraphed Charlotte winning by giving her all kinds of pyro with her return. But with the final three being Charlotte Flair as well as Roxanne Perez and Nia Jax, that Rumble was completely telegraphed. Not for a second did I think that they were going to do the bold thing and give it to Roxanne Perez, and not in a million years did I think that Nia Jax was actually going to win that. It was always going to be Charlotte Flair. What do I say on this channel? Death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair winning everything whenever she comes back from injury. This was just another example of it. Now, the question around is that the correct winner? In my opinion, I don't think that it's a bad winner. Like, Charlotte Flair absolutely is a believable Women's Royal Rumble winner. The thing is that she didn't need this. She didn't need this because Charlotte Flair could go take a crap. She could just quickly fart and get a WrestleMania main event. There's nothing that you need to build to make Charlotte Flair a believable WrestleMania main eventer. So giving her the Rumble here, to me, feels like an unnecessary decision. But nonetheless, the decision was made. I don't love the booking decision of having Charlotte win, even though I am a massive Charlotte Flair supporter. But yeah, really overall, great match until Nia Jax. Then it completely goes down the shitter, and I don't believe that the winner was particularly exciting, surprising, or a winner that I feel was necessary at this point in time. That being said, I am pumped for the aftermath. I'm excited for the likelihood of getting Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton. Fingers freaking crossed that that's the match. I do not want to see Charlotte versus Rhea part 3 because we've seen that recently. Don't get me wrong, Charlotte versus Rhea would probably absolutely torch the house down, but I want to see something new. And Rhea doesn't need the Charlotte match. She doesn't need the Charlotte rub. The person that is the unknown commodity right now at the moment that could use that big WrestleMania boost in a match against Charlotte is Tiffany Stratton. That is the match that we want. It's just unfortunate that we needed to get there by really just burning a Royal Rumble victory on Charlotte Flair. But hey, Charlotte Flair is the first ever two-time Women's Royal Rumble, and I'm not surprised that they're giving her another, Girl Scout badge on her insane career that is the career of Charlotte Flair. Bro, that is so far. Oh my word. It happened again. Are you kidding me?
God.
Oh, good Lord. God absolutely loves Daniel Bryan. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was a sneak peek of this week's Royal Rumble-centric Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week we're looking at Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit from the Royal Rumble 2003. Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus John Cena from Royal Rumble 2015. Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair at the Royal Rumble 2023. The gruesome Rock versus Mankind I Quit match from Royal Rumble 1999. Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble 2014. And CM Punk versus The Rock for the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble 2013. That's right, 6 matches this week instead of 5. You're going to be getting all of this, plus the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days earlier than everywhere else, and you're going to get the Undertaker Streak watch-along that we're doing, and the Royal Rumble watch-alongs that we've been doing for the past several months as well. All of these are exclusively available to Patreon because we can't show them on YouTube because YouTube automatically blocks anything with footage. So we quite literally can never show it here. It's only on Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/SantiZap. I'm going to put a link in the description as well as a link in the pinned comment for you. If you're already supporting on Patreon, thank you so much. If you aren't, just consider it just for 1 month. I'm really confident that you're going to fall in love with it, even if you try for 1 month. That's enough. Let's get you back to the video. Now let's talk about the tag team match. The best 2 out of 3 falls between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. Here's the thing. This match I thought was great. It was technically sound. There was some absolutely fantastic tag team wrestling. Unfortunately, the crowd of 75,000 people or 65,000 people, whatever it was, they didn't seem to give a shit. This is just not the crowd to put this type of match in front of, clearly. And it's a shame because, in my opinion, the SmackDown tag team division earned this spot. They've been telling great stories, having great matches, developing characters, something that the Raw tag team division has not been able to do. They earned this spot, and unfortunately, the crowd didn't come out to support them. And the crowd, the people that were there will of course say, it was loud in person. Blah, blah. No, we heard you make noise when you wanted to make noise, and you did not want to make noise for this match. And again, it's a shame because it was an excellent best 2 out of 3 falls match, with DIY picking up the first one, Motor City Machine Guns picking up the second, and then the final 5 minutes just being this awesome back and forth that led to Motor City Machine Guns doing some of the best tag team chain wrestling that I've seen in a really, really long time. And they're about to pick up the victory, but we have the return of the Street Profits, who are seemingly now heel, who take out Motor City Machine Guns to help DIY pick up the victory. So we got a great match, and once again, even further development of the awesome expanding universe that is becoming the SmackDown Tag Team division. There's absolutely nothing to hate about this. But if you were watching with no context, you would think that this match stunk up the joint because no one in that crowd gave 2 shits seemingly. So what does this mean now? Because we still have champions DIY. We now have Motor City Machine Guns, who were attacked and screwed over out of another championship match, by the way. This is not the first time that's happened to Motor City Machine Guns. And now we have seemingly a heel-ish Street Profits. I can't really say for sure. They did take out Motor City Machine Guns, but they also took out DIY. So maybe we just have an edgier version of the Street Profits. I personally believe that they should just be heel. Especially considering the SmackDown Tag Team division lost A-Town Down Under, they could benefit from having another heel tag team there. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going down the road of a major WrestleMania ladder match with everyone that's in the tag team division on Friday Night SmackDown, mostly because I feel like the entire division has earned a WrestleMania spot. And I just hope that once they take this momentum with their great matches and storytelling, and now the return of the Street Profits, once they take that to WrestleMania, that Las Vegas actually shows them some love, unlike Indianapolis. Great match. Great storytelling there at the end, and I'm happy that DIY is still champions, because Motor City Machine Guns is not the one to take the titles away from them. It's going to be pretty deadly, baby. Yes, boy. Now let's talk about the insane ladder match that was Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Undisputed Championship. This thing was one of the gnarliest car wrecks that I've ever seen. This didn't feel like a professional wrestling match. This felt like 2 dudes wanting to end each other's lives, and that is exactly the type of match that I wanted to get, but was also the type of match that I didn't think WWE was bold enough to give us, and they did. So thank you, WWE, and I'm sorry for doubting your ability to actually give us a blood feud worth type of match. I shouldn't be surprised considering we got it with CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I just didn't think that they would put the face of the company, Cody Rhodes, through something like this. When it comes to like the typical drama that you would expect from a ladder match, like, ooh, is he going to grab it? Is he not going to grab it? He's going to fall from the ladder. There was really none of that. What they really went for was just a brutal, nasty beatdown of one another's psyche and physical body. Yeah, we got the ladders being used as weapons, but not in the traditional sense of using their verticality. These guys were ripping parts out of the ladder to beat each other with it. They were fighting around the arena. They brought out the WLC ladder and were beating the shit out of each other with that ladder as well. But of course, the thing that this is going to be remembered for is the crazy bumps on top of ladders without needing the crazy verticality that we're used to of falling from ladders and stuff. We had Kevin Owens taking one of the nastiest back bumps on like the corner, the edge where like the top of the ladder begins. I grimaced when I saw that. But it wasn't just Kevin taking those bumps. We have Cody Rhodes taking a nasty bump on the ladder, and then after that bump, we have Kevin Owens doing his nasty like package like suplex that he does from the top rope onto a ladder that was propped pretty low as well, with both of them landing. And that to me was one of the sickest spots that I've ever seen in a ladder match. And I love that WWE sold that spot, because I thought they both died, and I wouldn't be surprised that they're just going to get up and continue to have a match. But no, officials came out. They threw up the X. Sami Zayn came out to check on both of his friends, because that was a gross, gruesome spot. And I love that WWE sold how gross and gruesome it was, even if Cody did eventually shake it off to beat the piss out of Kevin Owens even more. And the final spot is one that's going to live rent-free in my head, with Kevin Owens going for a package pile driver on that reinforced announce table, only for Cody Rhodes to turn it into the craziest Alabama slam that I've ever seen, right through a prop table that was propped on the table as well as the apron, and it looked like Kevin Owens landed a head first right through that ladder. That was nuts. And I love that that's where the match ended. I love that they did the brutal thing and it wasn't this like drama of both of them climbing or anything like that. The crazy Alabama slam through the ladder happens, and then Cody Rhodes just slowly walks up, grabs it, and he looked pissed. He looked angry. He looked like Cody Lander, because not only does he win, but then he grabs the titles and then just celebrates right over the corpse of a bloody, basically dead Kevin Owens. So is this a Cody heel turn? I don't think so. I feel like it's Cody continuing to teeter on the edge, getting closer to the edge, continuing to tell that story of the Mad King. And I love if this is the path that they're going to go down towards, especially if he gets challenged by a babyface Cena or a babyface Jey Uso going into WrestleMania. Having an edgier Mad King Cody Rhodes might be the way to go. Somebody that's healed, but not fully. This ladder match rocked. From a traditional sense, this is the best match of the night. Of course, we're going to talk about the men's rumble, but this match absolutely ruled. You cannot miss this match. This is going to be one of my favorite matches of the year. I already know it. I already know it's going to be one of my top 10 matches when I do the end of the year awards in the end of 2025. And now let's talk about this absolutely bananas, crazy, out of this world men's Royal Rumble match. So one of the things that this Rumble was missing was surprise entrance. However, I wasn't expecting surprise entrance, because when you look at how this Rumble was built up, it wasn't built up on the fact of surprise. It wasn't built up on returns. It was built up on the fact that this is going to be the most stacked Rumble in the history of Royal Rumbles. We did have a couple of great surprise entrants. We had, for example, the return of AJ Styles, who I honestly kind of like borderline teared up and got goosebumps seeing AJ Styles come out with his old theme, by the way. And I was just excited because it means that AJ Styles versus John Cena is on the table during John Cena's retirement tour, because I thought that we lost that, because so many of us thought that AJ Styles was going to be out for about a year. That's what he originally announced. So him coming back after only about 4 and a bit months is awesome. I'm just so glad that AJ Styles is back and that we're going to get an old theme AJ Styles once again. We also had Joe Hendry from TNA go out there with his TNA championship and get some cool moments out there. Not only getting a moment with the likes of Roman Reigns, getting moments with Braun Breaker, but he also got to do his finisher out there as well. And people popped for it. People knew who Joe Hendry was, and they showed him and showered him with love. And I'm so happy that happened. But to me, honestly, I love AJ. I love the fact that Joe Hendry was there. I think I loved even more the fact that IShowSpeed was in this Rumble. That was absolutely an amazing, amazing celebrity appearance. It happened off the back of Tozawa being taken out right before he was able to make his entrance in the Royal Rumble match. And then Triple H out of nowhere is like, hey, we need somebody. Speed, hey, you go out there. Speed goes out there, helps Braun Breaker get an elimination, by the way. And then we get Braun Breaker delivering the most mind-bending spear that I've ever seen be delivered. Braun Breaker did not hold back at all on this guy that is a quarter of his weight. That was not just a nasty spear, but a nasty bump as well. Not only that, but then Braun Breaker chucks him out only for Otis to catch him, and then Otis throws him over the announce table. It was hilarious and it was shocking. It was, because I really wasn't expecting Speed to have this kind of a memorable moment in a WWE ring. So I loved it. I thought IShowSpeed's performance in this and the appearance was great. I know that a lot of people are like, hey, this could have had somebody from NXT. Fair enough. I get where you're coming from, but at the very least, the performance from Speed was entertaining and a lot of fun. And that's one of the negative points that I have here. No one from NXT. However, I have a hard time really settling down on saying that it's a negative to not have anyone from NXT, when once again, the motive and the overall build of this Rumble was that this was a stacked Rumble with a ton of stars. star power, and it kind of counterintuitive to try and talk about people from NXT being members that could add to how stacked the Rumble is, considering most people from the main roster that only watch the main roster don't know who they are, and they're technically developmental, right? Still, it would have been cool to have a whoop that trick entrance in that arena. That would have been awesome. The thing that I absolutely hated from this Rumble, frankly, the only thing that I hated from this Rumble was what they did with Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. I thought that was absolutely atrocious. Jacob Fatu was amazing in this Rumble. To me, he was the MVP of this Rumble with his performance. I thought that he was absolutely amazing. But then they had Braun Strowman return at the Rumble. Return is, in air quotes, because he was only gone for a week. They had him absolutely no-sell this devastating, gruesome attack that left him bleeding out of the mouth with what you would think is internal bleeding and internal damage from the attack that Jacob Fatu laid on him. He absolutely no-sells it, comes back a week later to not only return and completely diminish everything that Jacob Fatu did to him at Saturday night's main event, but then eliminate Jacob Fatu. To me, that right there, that buried Saturday night's main event. There's no reason to watch Saturday night's main event aside from the fact that you might want to have a fun wrestling night with good wrestling, because that to me is what Saturday night's main event is. But after last Saturday night's main event, what I said was, hey, at the very least, we had an awesome moment with the destruction of Braun Strowman and the buildup of Jacob Fatu. They fucking threw that out the window. That did not matter. That truly, genuinely was not canon. To me, this Rumble absolutely ended and buried Saturday night's main event. So here's now what I'm going to say about the match itself, without actually talking about my thoughts on the result. The match itself, the bones of the match, the structure of how the match was laid out, absolutely brilliant. One of the best laid out Royal Rumbles that I've ever seen. Think about how things went and you'll really see how good this was structured. Because the first 15 minutes of this match was just high-paced, incredibly good, high-flying wrestling, technical wrestling, the super fast-paced wrestling that gets you in the door quickly. Because we had the likes of Rey Mysterio and Penta giving us a mini little dream match with them being 1 and 2. Chad Gable then goes out there. Carmelo Hayes goes out there. Santos Escobar, who's a great technical wrestler, even though no one cares about him, then goes out there. And then we have Braun Breaker go out there. And it isn't really until Jacob Fatu goes out there and starts to clear house that the second part of the Rumble begins, because that first part was names that have less star power but can deliver an amazing match. They got to showcase themselves, and they got to showcase Penta, which is awesome that Penta was the Iron Man of this match. But then after we go from the super high-flying, fast-paced, awesome wrestling, they go into now the star power stars, because that's when Jacob Fatu goes out there, clears house, but then we have back-to-back just some insane names. We have Joe Hendry go out there, Roman Reigns, then Drew McIntyre, then a couple of picks later, Jey Uso, AJ Styles, and then Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, all of those bang, 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 bang. And that's when we got to the narrative that was built of this Rumble match, which is this is the most stacked Rumble. And I love that they didn't spend the whole Rumble telling us this. I love that they split it into two. Great wrestling and then great star power. To me, it was structured brilliantly. And we also had a mass elimination moment, but unlike the mass elimination moment with Nia Jax, who eliminated all those people without the ability to build narratives and stories, the mass elimination moment was the complete opposite. It was a mass elimination moment that laid the groundwork for a feud that everybody wants to see and could be the main event of WrestleMania. That being CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns basically eliminating each other and then fighting on the outside even after their elimination. That spot to me was, yes, a mass elimination that usually people don't like, but a mass elimination that, unlike the Nia Jax one, led to so many mouth-watering feuds that could be played out. I think one of the underwhelming things in this Rumble, though, was the usage of Drew McIntyre. I feel like Drew McIntyre kind of belonged in that mass elimination, in that mass brawl that happened on the outside. There are reports that something went wrong with Drew McIntyre's elimination, but as of the making of this video, I don't know what that is. But fellas, the final three is not something that anybody predicted, because the final three is John Cena versus Jey Uso versus Logan freaking Paul. And after Logan Paul got eliminated by Cena, the final two to me was a win-win situation that I never expected. Cena or Jey Uso. And here's the thing. Jey Uso ended up winning. And I'm going to talk about whether or not I like the booking result here. But my goodness, that finish was fantastic. One of the things I traditionally don't like about Cena, and this is something that he's been doing recently in the last couple of years of his run, is that he tends to overact. And we had one of those overacting moments when it was him, Punk, and Roman Reigns in the ring, and they're all staring at each other, except Cena. Cena's doing this thing. Cena's like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, That was what Cena was doing, and to me was too much overacting. That is what Cena, unfortunately, does a lot of in his final years here with the WWE. However, his overacting to me worked at the very end. His overacting with pretending to fall on the apron, of like having one foot out about the fall, added to so much drama. And then having Jey Uso win was, to me, a really, really just out of left field moment that I'm on board with. We did get a cool moment with Cena embracing Jey Uso, which I, oddly enough, feel like Jey Uso needed that. Which, by the way, once again, buries the importance of Saturday night's main event. Why have Jey Uso versus Gunther, have Jey Uso lose, only for Jey Uso to come here and then win? Like, why did we do that at Saturday night's main event? So here's the thing. Objectively, like just truthfully and factually, the Rumble was structured beautifully. Lots of great storylines were played out. People were highlighted incredibly well. Amazing wrestling, a really dramatic finale. What is subjective and entirely opinionated is whether or not you agree with Jey Uso winning, because there's a lot of people that do not like the fact that Jey Uso won. There's a lot of people that are super hyped that Jey Uso did win. I am optimistic. I would have loved Cena to win that. My pick was CM Punk, but I would have loved Cena to win that. But I'm on board with the vision of Jey Uso, and that vision needs to be him winning a world championship. If he goes to WrestleMania and loses, what the hell is the point of all of this? But I'm on board and I'm willing to let it play out. But here's the thing. The most logical person for him to go to would have been Gunther. But now that we've already done Gunther versus Jey Uso, I don't want to see that. I don't think a lot of people want to see a rematch of that. I feel like the play, weirdly, is Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes, which brings us back to that moment all of those months ago when they separated and Cody Rhodes did say, "Until we eat again." Maybe this is the time that we eat. So again, I'm optimistic about what they're going to do with Jey Uso, but I do need some good booking, some good storylines, some good promos. He can't just rely on Yeet. But like I said, I'm on board with this, but we're going to need a good buildup, a good storyline for Jey Uso going into WrestleMania. I don't think that it can just be off the back of him yeeting all over the place and getting the crowd excited that way. I feel like we're going to need something of a little bit more substance, and I really believe that WWE can deliver it, but we'll see. But really, at the end of the day, I didn't see this coming at all. I'm not mad. I'm not super joyous. I'm just kind of left in shock, which I think is a good thing, right? Listen, you can't have your cake and have it too. Some people complain that the Rumble is too predictable, but when they give you something unpredictable, you complain that the person doesn't deserve it. All right, you gotta meet them in the middle somewhere here. But I thought that this men's Rumble match was immaculate. Again, up in the air to you whether you like the idea of Jey Uso winning. But that's it, folks. Thank you so much for watching this review. Once again, don't forget that we have a much longer, more in-depth version of this with footage over on Patreon. So go check it out, patreon.com/SantiZap. But that's it. I'm done. Get out of here.